Alright, hello everyone and welcome to my PowerPoint about normal types in Generation 1 Part 2. This is going to be covering all the single evolution Pokemon, so your Snorlaxes, your Tauros, your Kangaskhan, your Farfetch'd, your Porygon, all of those. In the last episode, we covered all of the evolutionary lines. We covered the Persian line, the Pidgeot line, we covered the Raticate line. All of the normal type lines is what we covered last time, so go check that video out if you want to. But without further ado, let's get into the rest of the normal types in Generation 1. Alright, we'll be going over the individual Pokemon and their respective strategy for each of their tiers. I have their tiers and movesets listed out so you can see what their goal is and what their plan is in a battle, but I'll explain it to you as well if you prefer that. Alright, first Pokemon is Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd is a normal type. I don't actually think he's flying. It gets Slash, Body Slam, Agility, Sand Attack, and Substitute. I'm not the biggest fan of Sand Attack. I think it's an okay status move. I mean, it's an alright setup move. I do like Agility, though, because it can turn Farfetch'd into a better sweeper at the end of the game. And if it gets Substitute, it also is able to stay on the field a lot longer and, able to help resist some of the opponent's Pokemon and keep it over there for a longer duration of time. For its health, it gets 52 for attack 65, defense 55, special 58, and speed 60. So pretty overall mediocre stats. However, I do think that it's okay for ZU. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like E rank or something. Pretty sure it's very low down there with like Jigglypuff, right? But still, it had some versatility. So yeah, it's okay. Next up, we got Lickitung. Lickitung is in ZU. It's actually C tier in ZU. It gets Body Slam, Earthquake, and Wrap. Wrap being one of those stally moves that keeps your opponent, bound for like 3 to 5 turns, 2 to 5 turns, something like that. It also gets Bubble Beam and Surf, as well as Swords Dance and Hyper Beam. Swords Dance increases your attack by 2 stages in Generation 1. And Bubble Beam and Surf just being overall really good type coverage against fire types, and Hyper Beam being able to sweep other Pokemon. So Lickitung is kind of like a late game sweeper, but also can serve as a mid game pivot tank because it has such high defense and health. So you can probably just send this in the middle of a game, let it set up a little, like a few Swords Dances, then Body Slam and Hyper Beam. I've done that many times in random battles and been able to win using that strategy alone. So it's a good setup Pokemon. It's in ZU C tier. Overall, a fairly decent Pokemon, fairly alright, pretty good setup. Next up, we have Chansey. Oh my god, Chansey is an OU. Chansey gets Sing, Seismic Toss, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Soft Boiled, Reflect, and Counter. Chansey can be run a few different ways. You can run Sleep Chansey, which has Sing. You can run Bolt Beam Chansey, which gets Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, and Soft Boil. Or you can run a more defensive Chansey, which gets Reflect, Seismic Toss, Thunder Wave, and Soft Boiled. Every single Chansey, though, will have Thunder Wave and Soft Boiled. Even the Sing Seismic Toss Chansey has Thunder Wave and Soft Boiled. So yeah, and if you look at the stats at the top, you can see that its health is kind of ridiculous. Chansey has very high health, very good bulk. I think it's the best bulk in Generation 1, if I'm not mistaken. Its special is 105. Its attack and defense are very lacking, but you're not going to be attacking with this thing. The only fighting type move you use is Seismic Toss, and that's based off the Pokemon's level, not off the Pokemon's attack stat. So Chansey overall very good. It's one of the strongest OU Pokemons. They have it ranked in A tier. I would say it's like up there with Snorlax. Like it's the other wall on your team. It's the special wall. But Snorlax can take special hits a little bit better than Chansey can take physical hits, so Snorlax is better in that regards. But Chansey is one of the best special attackers in the game, if not the best special attacker in the game. So watch out. Next up, we got Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is UUA1. This is basically your Tauros, pretty much, for UU. It's a nice little late game sweeper. It gets Body Slam, Earthquake, Hyper Beam, and Surf, so it has good type coverage. It has good speed, has good attack, has good health. So you send this in as a mid-game pivot or as a late-game sweeper to try and eliminate everything off the field that's already been paralyzed by your whatever or been put to sleep by Hypno. And yeah, you can just get it off the field, use it as a sweep. Because of that high speed. Now, its special is lacking, so against special attackers, this is not going to be the best, which is why pivoting to it may not always be the best option, especially against special attackers. However, pivoting against, normal attackers with maybe low defense could be a good idea to try and get those off the field as fast as possible. Or, like I've said earlier, just waiting till the end of the game to come in with your Kangaskhan at the end and sweep all their other Pokemon with your high speed and high attack stat. So yeah, late game sweeper, Tauros-like Pokemon, very, very good. Next up, we got, speaking of speaking of the devil himself, Tauros. Tauros, just like Kangaskhan, except for OU, it comes in at the end of the game or as a mid-game pivot and kills like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 Pokemon. Um, Tauros is honestly kind of ridiculous. Ridiculously strong, that is. Its attack is 100, its defense is 95, and its special is nothing to scoff at, as well as its speed, right? So Tauros is going to be attacking, and it's going to be attacking very frequently, and it's going to be dealing a lot of damage, right? So you need to watch out for Tauros. Tauros is, by the devs, by the higher-ups say Tauros is the best Pokemon in Generation 1 OU. I would disagree. I think Snorlax is the best, but we'll get into that later. Tauros only gets Body Slam, Earthquake, Hyper Beam, Blizzard. It gets Stab, Hyper Beam, Stab, Body Slam, Earthquake for Gengar coverage, and Blizzard for Grass, Fly, and Ground. Dragon coverage, right? What the fuck doesn't Ice cover in Generation 1, right? So yeah, Tauros is very good late sweeper, very good mid-game pivot. If you mid-game pivot into Tauros, you can almost always get 2 or 3 kills with Tauros alone, especially if you do it safely against a low special attacker. But yeah, Tauros, very good. Very good Pokemon. Next up, we got Ditto! There's not much to talk about with Ditto, since Ditto only gets Transform, and its base stats are horrible. But I'll tell y'all a little story, just to ease the tension with Ditto, and you can look at these beautiful pictures. So one day, right, I was out on a date with a girl, and she's pretty cute, I'm not gonna lie, she's a little on the chubby side, but I kind of like him a little more on the chubby side, right? So I'm going out with her. We go to like this coffee shop. We go to like a thrift store or whatever. We get some outfits, we get coffee, all this fun stuff. And the date's going pretty well, right? And I take her home, and we're watching a movie. I can't remember what's on. I think we were watching like a Barbie movie or something, right? And she looks at me and she's like, so are you trying to get married? And I'm like, fuck no, bro. Fuck no. This is, mind you, we've been dating for like a pretty long time. This was like our, 30th or 40th date, right? And I'm just like, no, I'm not trying to get married the rest of my life. And on the spot, she deadass looks at me and says, well, this isn't going to work if you're not trying to marry me. So I left that bitch straight on the spot, man. 1.5 years down the drain. But I can't be marrying no thought type shit, you feel me? Anyways, Ditto. Yeah, transforms into the other Pokemon, only gets 5 PP per move. Pretty shitty. It's one of the lowest ZU Pokemons. Probably one of the worst Pokemon in the game, aside from like Caterpie or Weedle. Yeah, really bad. Next up, we got Eevee. Eevee is in Little Cup. It is B tier. It gets Body Slam, Double Edge, Quick Attack, Substitute, and Sand Attack. All of its base stats are pretty mediocre. I mean, its special is alright, special at 65. But it's kind of like a Farfetch'd, it gets Substitute Sand Attack so it can stay on the field longer. The benefit it has over Farfetch'd is it gets Quick Attack and has slightly better health, right? So with Quick Attack, you can go very fast, right? And you can just kill whatever Pokemon needs to get killed if they all have low health. And then Body Slam and Double Edge both deal good amounts of damage. Body Slam has a chance to paralyze the target, and Double Edge deals a little bit of recoil damage, but that's fine if you got the Substitute up, right? So yeah, Substitute to stay on the field as long as possible, Body Slam, Double Edge to whittle them down, and then Quick Attack if you need to. That's the plan with Eevee. And Eevee, very cute Pokemon, I must say. I like all of its evolutions. I think the sprites are good as well. Very cool. Next up, we got Porygon. Porygon gets Psychic, Blizzard, Double Edge, Hyper Beam, Thunder Wave, Agility, and Recover. This thing is a Chansey 2.0, if you ask me. It's in partial use, A2 tier. It's basically the same use as Chansey is, kind of just as like a stone wall against Pokemon. With Double Edge, Blizzard, and Psychic. I mean, it has access to some of the most powerful moves in the game, as well as Hyper Beam. It gets access to a Paralysis move, Thunder Wave. It has Agility, so it can speed itself up. It gets Recover, so it can stay on the field a long time. Overall, basically just a Chansey 2.0, but also kind of works for physical attackers as well, with the good defense and good special, right? So yeah, only downside about Porygon is it's kind of slow. But other than that, it's a very good Pokemon that can counter a lot of other Pokemon and is able to wall Pokemon very well. Another good defensive wall for all kinds of Pokemon, right? Next up, we got Snorlax. Snorlax is our last Pokemon. This is OUS2 right there below Tauros, though in my opinion, I think Snorlax is the best, and I'll explain why. So Snorlax gets Body Slam, Earthquake, Hyper Beam, Blizzard, Ice Beam, Self-Destruct, Rest, Counter, Amnesia, and Reflect. You can run so many sets with Snorlax, so let me explain them. You can run Body Slam, Earthquake, Rest, Reflect. That's like a defensive, like a mixed Snorlax, right? Like a balanced Snorlax. You can run Body Slam, Ice Beam, Earthquake, and Self-Destruct. That's a hyper offensive Snorlax. You can run Amnesia, Ice Beam, Rest, Counter. That is a setup Snorlax. So you can run setup Snorlax, hyper offensive Snorlax, balanced Snorlax. You can run defense Snorlax with Rest and Reflect. You could run what I run, which is Body Slam, Ice Beam, Rest, Reflect. It's a defensive Snorlax that can freeze the other Snorlax in the case of a Reflect war, where both of you have physical attacks and can't deal damage because both of you have Reflects up. You see what I'm saying? So there's so much versatility with Snorlax. Snorlax is one of the most versatile normal type Pokemon in the game. In OU, I think it's the best because it can beat Tauros on its own. Like, it may not be able to kill as many things as fast as possible like Tauros does, but it can still hold its own against a Tauros and can honestly win in a 1v1 against Tauros. So it kind of dominates the meta in that sense, if you see what I'm saying. But yeah, Snorlax overall, an insane Pokemon. One of the best Pokemon in the game. In my opinion, the best Pokemon in OU because it gets access to such good health, such good attack, and pretty mediocre stats everywhere else, like especially speed. But still, overall, its moveset, its move pool, very good Pokemon. So, what does this mean? The overall score I'll give normal types is a 9.4 out of 10. They're not as good as psychic types upon further review, but they do dominate some metas. They do hold their own against psychic types in general, and they are the other dominant type in the game. Their moveset is very good. They are very fast with a lot of attacks. Some of them are very bulky, but they all have one thing in common, and that's a kind of low special. Aside from maybe Chansey or Porygon, I guess. All of their special is especially low. So they have a big weakness against special attackers like the psychic types. But other than that, overall, a very good type that dominates a lot of the tiers in Generation 1. So I thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.